Hello, Starby. I see you. That's very clever how you have two emotes combined to get that little tail wag going. Alright, let me close the clips layer here. And I think we should be ready to switch this up. Yeah, that was tiny. Yes, it is game dev day. Oh, hang on. The chat element here is being a little weird. I guess that'll work. Yeah, that'll be fine. It's also a VTuber day because I don't feel like looking presentable for the camera. And I can drink as many Dr. Peppers as I want and no one can judge me because they can't see it. Okay, so kind of as a general assessment of what we have right now, because we have about 5 minutes to kill before the initial ad break, and I don't want to get into too much until after that. I've done a couple things, one of which was start creating a item to represent the flashlight, because just to make things a little more difficult, I want the player to have to keep the flashlight in their inventory. They're too close to each other, so you pick them up at the same time, right, as it is right now. But flashlight's in the inventory here. So, what we do have to do right now is establish a way to equip it, because currently we don't have that. And we're still going to have some issues with the animation system. That kind of goes without saying. But we should be able to deal with that as we get there. The other thing that I'm not sure I've done, and I got to thinking about it during the last time I was working on this over the weekend, is I don't think... Yeah, there's no input bound currently for the flashlight. So, gonna have to figure out an input binding for that. And importantly, find one that doesn't cause an issue with our gamepad inputs, because we only have so many buttons on a gamepad, but we do want to make sure that we allow most, any primary input at least, but as many inputs as possible to be mapped to whatever. And that includes making sure that we accommodate the flashlight button. Looking through what we have accounted for on our gamepad, and it looks like we got the movement ones take care of the thumbsticks. Camera takes care of the other thumbstick. Left trigger is our aim. Bottom face button, so that would be A or cross depending on your controller, is our jump action. Pressing the left thumbstick down as a button is our sprint action. Gamepad face right, which should be B or circle, is our crouch. Which honestly, that could probably move even to being the right thumbstick in, because I don't believe. Yeah, we aren't currently even using right thumbstick in. Because these are on the D-pad. And the map shortcut isn't going to have a gamepad component because it's just impossible. Yeah. Yeah, I think that'll be fine. So, we'll have to create our input action for it, which we can do after the ad break because we have an ad break coming in like 20 seconds. How is your day, Starby? Honestly hectic. You need to lock in and work on something specific. I mean, you've had your debut. Bezos, run your ad. Here they go. Oh no, the chat is over the dubby prompt. Okay, let me fix that. That was clearly not a well thought out position on my part. Okay. I mean, we can make sure that chat's underneath that. At least. That should work. That'll do. Alright. Got about 20 seconds left on the ad or so. Okay. Ad should be going away. There it goes. So, what I was asking before the ad hit, do you have something specific you need to work on? Because you had your debut, so presumably you get a little bit of a break. I'm gonna get away with just duplicating remake schedule templates. You know, and fix StreamBot. You know, I should probably make schedule templates to post my schedule. I mean, my schedule doesn't really change generally, unless I cancel something last minute. But and outside of if I do like collabs, but those are often kind of last minute sometimes too. But I don't know. I don't have like, I guess I would be using some of my overlay branding at this point. I don't have a lot of like special branding stuff. Especially not since I picked up the VTuber. And like, my next big spend is probably on the new model. What? Why are you... Oh... Now I know why the chat thingy is doing that. It's because it's from both platforms. Well, that's not ideal. Hang on a minute. Oh, thank you for the follow, Willow. I'm assuming you prefer to go by Willow. Can I... You can make a template for me now, Starby. What have we said? I'd like to think you're a Canva wizard. I mean, you may be a Canva wizard, but I don't use Canva. So, what? Let's see. Is there a way to control which, like, keep the bots from appearing in this chat widget? Apparently not. I'll just make them disappear, because otherwise that's awful. Starby, I'm pretty sure they said they wanted to go by Willow. Shame on you. Couldn't hear it over your keys clacking. I'm so sorry. What a mess. So you like to think you're a Canva wizard. I mean, I don't want you doing things for me for free, Starby. We've established this. I'm going to duplicate this guy to get our flashlight action. So it's going to be the same type of input. But, oh, the robot face. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about there. You and I have been over this many times. You shouldn't let people have you do things for free. Stop thinking Mayoshi Theme Lab. And here to customize and profile Linux CSS. Oh! You're welcome. Yeah, that's been a little hobby project outside of the other stuff I do. I've had some spare time during the day to work on that. But what if friends deserve gift? So you want to call it a gift as a means of getting past my ruling on that. we'll discuss this at some point, Starby. Alright, minimize these so that they're not taking up a million spaces here. Yeah, so what Willow is referring to there, Starby, though, was and I think I told you I made this. I made a tool, a site that you can use to build profiles for the Myoshi platform. And in fact, now it's even got like a starter wizard. This was one of the things that was missing. I know, because I know there were some people who liked the idea of the tool but couldn't understand how to use it. So I was really lacking here. But you can actually like start up a builder here and set some predefined stuff. And then it's automatically got you started. Of course, I've already said I'm going to make yours, Starby, but I'm just showing you in general. If you got curious and wanted to play around with it on your own. Wasn't there when you started mine? So what I'm showing here is brand new. I just pushed it today. The quick thing builder's brand new. There's a couple new, like sort of preset CSS blocks in here. They may have mixed results. I've tested some of them, and they work here. I haven't necessarily tested them on Myoshi, because that's a little harder without overriding my own profile. There's also the theme variables, so you can... This is based on the theme variables that Myoshi itself uses, so you can overwrite those, and it should then use the color scheme you choose no matter what. And then most importantly was the audit tool, because a lot of people are picking colors that are not readable over the backgrounds that they're doing. And this doesn't work if your background's an image, because it doesn't have a way to do that. But basically, and there's no issues found because I didn't do anything crazy. But let me load a snap. Oh, I don't have a snapshot in this browser. Basically what this can do is it can check accessibility on your profile. You love the audit tool? I had to fix something in the audit tool, which may or may not have been fixed the last time you use it. It was checking the font imports for whether or not they were HTTP or HTTPS, but it was not comparing them against the whitelisted domains that Myoshi allows, which was my original intention. I had it set up to do it, but it wasn't doing it, and I fixed that. So it will tell you if you use a domain they don't allow, at least as long as I keep the list updated. Like if they change it and I don't update the list, then it won't be accurate. But this is just a hobby project. And as of today, you can export and import. So up until now, you've been able to save it to your browser with the snapshot tool, but it's been limited to your local machine. But with this guy, you can export a JSON file that it will store on your computer, and you can put that wherever you'd like. You can version control that, and you can import it in on another device or send it to somebody else. And this one's not an openly like documented feature, but I mainly implemented it because I saw some people having issues with stuff they had created on OshiForge, which is a similar app. It can import OshiForge backups. So like OshiForge also can export a JSON file. My app can read those. So yeah, you still have to, if you want to add it to your profile, you still have to copy and paste the code. But the because it's not like they provide a way for us to upload to their site like that. But this allows you to design something, send it to someone, let them look at it on their own computer, that kind of thing. And there's always a little help thingy here if you need assistance. It takes you to the documentation. I am trying to do better about documenting the features that are in here. So I am not sure of any upcoming updates for a bit, but because at this point I've kind of exhausted working on this thing. But it's pretty feature full, I think. I mean, at this point, the only other thing I could probably do is add in some more like templates or more presets and stuff, and that's just a lot. Your site gave me so many errors with my OshiForge code, threw it in the bin and started over. No hate to Neo, it got me started and interested in it. So I had actually reached out to Neo to see if he wanted to work together on something, like to try to, I guess, make things more cohesive. And he'd given me an initial reply asking what I had in mind, but then I haven't heard back from him on it since. And, you know, I don't have anything against him either. His tool, but his tool is pretty much just for like CSS. And I've seen a number of people in the forums make posts where they say they've used it and then they're having some kind of issue. So I was just like, you know what? Let's make it easy for people to at least check it. You know, I'm not trying to replace him necessarily by any stretch of the imagination. He's got way more like presets and stuff that he can output. And I'm not really delving that much into it. But I don't, last I looked, he doesn't have a means of like auditing what you code. So if it doesn't work, it's hard to find. So, you know, mine's not perfect either, but if you find issues, you can, of course, let me know on my Oshi. There's a group on my Oshi that I made for the app. There's also links down here that go to GitHub, but you have to have a GitHub account, I think, to do anything with those, to like report an issue. I don't have a section in the Discord for it yet, but I suppose you could notify me on Discord or on Twitter if there are like specific problems, and I will try to fix them when possible. Yeah, I haven't made a section in Discord for it because it's still kind of just a new thing. And to be honest, I didn't actually expect that many people to use it. Half the reason I made it was for myself, because people started asking me to make profiles for them. And I didn't like trying to edit and like preview them on my own profile. It made it kind of difficult, especially if I wanted to like save my progress, because I didn't want to overwrite my own profile. So you got an idea for it when you have some time to post it here? All right. I will at least take ideas into consideration. Depending on how much uplift it is to add it will depend on if I actually do it. But my use keys E, block R, block actions F. I've got to keep track of all my freaking buttons. Yeah, F is probably fine. Yeah, now I gotta go back to putting more time into this, rather than Mayoshi, unfortunately. Uh, Can I copy? I'm gonna paste this and then just. Nope, not what I wanted. Yeah, okay. Gamepad. Must be right. Not rug, right. Right thumbstick button. Yes. That should be good. I can always play around with the actual key bindings later, and I plan to let them be remapped, so that'll be fine. Okay, so... let's see. I need to... I'm trying to think of how to best do this. I want to treat it as a piece of equipment. And so, based on doing that, like what I did with... Why is my phone blowing up? Yeah. Based on what I did here... Stop with the notifications. Let's see. Can use... Yeah. I'm just going to... Can equip and... tool. Horizontal is fine. I'll figure out like an actual equation for that, or formula for that. And then... So that should tell us that we can equip it. Let's see if it actually equips now. It should at least present the option. My concern is that it's going to try to equip it where the gun is. No. Why? Okay. Was it something I failed to set in my data table? Can be dropped, flashlight, damage, hit class, show ammo, camera shake, item. That can go there, of course. Where is is the skeleton of the player. There should be a socket for... That's animations. Where's my skeletal meshes? Scaling. There we go. Did the hand socket? I guess technically it would go to weapon R. But I don't have... Yeah, it should be presenting it with the ability to be used. Is that it might be a class settings thing. That's the shortcut. Can't add the shortcut. You crave a Dr. Pepper. I also have Dr. Pepper. Mine's 0 sugar though. Zero sodas all the way? Yeah. Especially being a little older and having to watch my intake of like sugar and stuff. Okay. Yeah, it's gonna be a no on that. I don't actually want to have to overwrite that guy, so that's fine. Why would it not present me with the equip or the use options? We also don't have... That's interesting. Also is showing the shortcut icon on there, even though it's... And it also... It does let you discard it. Oop. It drops it, but you can't pick it back up. I found a bug. Okay. there's no option to equip it. And it's not a weapon, so I can't use the existing weapon equipping system. Because then I run the risk of it equipping. It's not a bug, it's a feature. It's in hard mode now. Yeah, I mean, in a way. Because I'm telling it can equip. It could be a UI thing. I may not have accounted for something in the UI class, but I kind of doubt it. Let's see. Inventory. We just squash the bug. Yeah, well, I'm gonna probably move on to other things that are easier to fix first. But thank you for stopping by. Thank you for the follow and the kind words about my app. Okay, context menu. Does this present us with anything useful? Does... Okay, that's getting our object or button. And show use. So what setting? Where was I setting this again? Do a search on that. It may not actually find anything, depending on how it's actually being set. Initialize button, get show use. Oh, that's this. You know what it is. I think it's this. The tool base. Because it just occurred to me, you know, I was kind of repeating what I did with the weapons, which is all fine and dandy, except that the weapon, I don't know, I handled this then. That should all be fine. So no, that's not it. But what I did do that would be important is I'm probably running into an issue because of the fact that a bunch of stuff here is done via a character component for the weapon. And yeah. Now, one option, though it would be extremely tedious, I think, would be to create a tool component that does effectively the same thing but for the tools. That would mean starting here and creating all of this stuff before the tools. Sounds a mite bit tedious. I could also build it into the weapon component itself, or a different component, but it relies on the interface. And I did create a tool interface by basically modifying a copy of the weapon interface. Then I noticed a problem when I tried to add it to the weapon component is that I didn't change enough of these function names, and so they conflict. So I might have to, since they use many of the same types of functions, modify all of the function names on both to distinguish one from the other. So that way, if they are used together, they don't have that issue. Again, gonna be pretty tedious. There's not really a way to like multi-select edit these, unfortunately. So kind of the best I could do, I can at least copy that so I don't have to type it every single time. And then I can do it like that. And then it will be auto-updating these names when I save it. Okay, do that. And, oh, the dog dog's freaking out. The wife must be home. Alright, now we hope. Thank goodness, I was gonna say we hope it doesn't crash. Because there was always that possibility. The level of things that would get changed. Might as well do a save all. Because it updated a bunch of files by doing that. Alright, now we gotta do the same thing, but we gotta do it for tool. So we can copy this. Then this one won't affect nearly as many files because we haven't used it in a ton of places yet. So you know, theoretically, we changed the one, so we don't have to change this one, but I would like to be able to, if I forget about that fact and I'm dealing with trying to call one of these functions, be able to tell at a glance which one I am calling. Especially if I'm gonna just stick them both in the weapon component. We are going to have an ad any minute now. That didn't work. There goes the ad. Alright. I'm going to save while we wait on the ad. You decided to make fries. Well, at least it's actual food. Not like the other day where I heard like you say something about just eating, what was it, some white cheddar popcorn or something? Which I think you said you ate like a small amount of. Popcorn is food. All right. There is some amount more nutritional value in a potato than there probably is in popcorn. Like, yes, technically, popcorn comes from corn. And last I checked, corn is a vegetable, although I think it's also a starch. But I'm pretty sure once you pop it, you're losing a lot of that. Don't you dare come after my white cheddar popcorn ever again. Look, I can only say so much. Like, my wife definitely has, like, the same kind of diet. Unless I actively cook. That would be the kind of, like, she lives off charcuterie. Like charcuterie and instant ramen and candy and chips. And somehow ends up with fewer, we'll say, diagnosable health problems than me. She definitely still has health problems, but they can't figure out what's wrong. Only eat if stew cooks for you. Yeah, that sounds about right. That is my life. All right. So yeah, the easiest option might be to just stick it in here with the weapons. But also, that might make things too convoluted. Something weird and static is happening with the audio. Is it on my voice or is it on the music? I think that's just an effect of this song. It has a bit of a staticky sound to it. Let me see. I got a thing here where I can listen to what's coming out of it. As long as I do it correctly. And don't create a back feed. Not that. Oh, I hear it. Yeah, no, that's not supposed to be there. I can fix it. Hang on. I just gotta restart. It'll go away for a second. Yeah, it should be gone now. Yeah, so I don't know what causes that, to be honest. So I use Voicemeeter. Yeah, I have the Go XLR, but I have Voicemeeter for like internal routing of audio. Just to be even more particular about what goes where. And randomly, I haven't really determined what triggers it because there's nothing like unique that predates it happening. The system audio, so be that music or game or whatever, will get staticky like that. And I don't hear it. it's only audible to stream, but it can be fixed entirely by me restarting the audio engine on Voicemeeter. So I do not know. Sometimes it's literally just a bandwidth issue. Well, see, you would think that if I was saying like that only stream here. So it's something only stream hears, but it's coming through the stream mix, if that makes sense. So stream's the only reason stream's the only one that hears it is because, so I can hear it by turning on stream mix, which is the column that I'm moving my mouse over now. It's the fourth one from the left. I can route that through my headphones, and then I'll hear whatever's coming through that, and that includes me and the music. I don't like to hear myself, so I usually keep it off. Also, it would double up the music for me because I'm listening to the music directly. It only gets staticky coming out of this guy, which leads me to believe that it is somehow related to like the Go XLR, but that doesn't make sense because it's fixed by me restarting the audio engine in Voicemeeter, not by me touching anything on the Go XLR. So it's something in Voicemeeter, but it's not affecting the music in the channel here that I have dedicated to music, because like I have that routed direct. A1 is my headphones, so anything marked as A1 is coming to my headphones, and I don't hear it unless I listen in on here. So it's very strange. It also doesn't happen very often, or at least not to my knowledge. I try to check, but I don't always remember to do that. Alright, so... Well, this was based off of weapon base, which is an entirely separate component, so... Do I do this as one of these? That is an interesting thought. The weapon logic determines a lot of the HUD stuff. Inventory HUD component would be where some stuff's getting set. It peaks randomly. It could be that the music input is too loud in the stream mix, so the music clips only on that output. Maybe. I don't think so, though. I try to keep my... If anything, my stuff's usually too quiet. Most of the time. For stream, anyway. Oh god, it's the pirate music. I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want it. It drives me insane. Yarg. Yeah, Yarg. It drives me insane. Yeah, this is the menu button, which is determined. This is what happens when you push a menu button. Menu. Create menu. This slot have items temporary. Local selected item. Show use. Can use. Show equip. Oh. No. It's slot type. Yeah, it's different. I didn't see a slots type on any of this. The item type, which so it's pulling this off of the item object, variable of slots type. Find equipment. Slot to, oh no. Oh no, I'm opening C++ code. Oh no. This is gonna be it's in the inventory component. Inventory component. Oops. Find equipment slot to equip. Okay, it checks. Okay. It was updated. The heck you mean it was updated? Alright. Well, let's see. Slots type. I mean, I can set the slots type. That's not even correct. Because the slots type is for the type of inventory. Find equipment slot to equip. But this is the item, so it is looking for the slot type. It's looking for it to either be in primary equipment. Show use. Because the pistol showed equip at one point. The way I had it designed. Out of curiosity, I'm just going to set it as a weapon and see if that... It could be how I've got something coded on the back end. What are you mad about? Oh... Why? API, weapon, camera, transition. I don't know why it was mad about that all of a sudden. And that was an issue caused by me renaming things. I'm just... Now it shows equip. Okay. And it will actually equip it. Without it affecting the gun, because of the weird shenanigans I did. What inventory slot or what equipment slot did it put that thing in? Sling. Because it thinks it's a weapon. Interesting. Yeah, because as a tool, theoretically, it should also be able to be equipped. Component ID. Let's pick up or replace. Find equipment slot to equip. Oh, could it be because I don't have a tool slot? Maybe in my inventory. UI. Let me see. Those are slot heights and everything. We should care more about construct information, visibility change, slide into the case. Register equipment slots, equipment slot canvas. That's just registering the slots it creates. But I don't see where I defined I think for the most part it's just using that one because it's technically the first one. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, guess I could try to figure out where it defined slots. Yeah, you. Like, I have to assume it's pulling that one because it's the index is 0, so it's just pulling the first open slot out of equipment slots and not a specific slot. If I would have changed this to 0, or changed this one to 0, right? And this one to 1, my assumption is that the way I've currently got it programmed, it's going to go into the holster. Let's test that theory. because I changed that back. There is probably be item equip slot. Let me see here. Library. There's gotta be. I'm going to test my theory again, though, now that I realize I had to go back and make a change. Yeah, okay. So it's going in the first empty slot. Okay, so that's... That's something to consider. It's going in the first empty slot. There are interfaces in here for like get best slot. But in this case, we're defining those differently. Okay, so something is ensuring OMP item equip slot enum. Let me find that in here. Okay. Begin play. Initialize hidden slots. Initialize equipment slots. Equipment type. Yeah. Default slots. Wait, what? Can equip implementation. But I'm curious then. Can equip. That's the definition. Slot struct. Okay. That would be very interesting. item slot. Oh, got an ad break. We shall take a break for the ads. Seconds left on the ad break. Alright, we should be back from the ad break. So, somewhere in here, I must have limited Alright, let's look for... Oops. Oops. That actually doesn't do anything. Item struct library. Guess it could be in a struct. Inventory slot info. Index slot type. Inventory layout. Where did I match these up? Or more to the point, where can I tell it what slot index to look for? Let's get slot index of its current slot. What on earth would this be defined by? There's somewhere in here, although I'm not finding it, that I have restricted maybe it's this guy? That would be where this stuff is set. Interesting. Because my idea here currently is that we can take inputs from our player character, in this case we'd be taking our flashlight action, and actually I'm just gonna call this flashlight tool because right now the only tool we have is the flashlight, but I may find some other use for this. And then the idea I had was that when this is triggered, we would check and see if the flashlight was equipped, and if it was, we would turn the flashlight on and spawn it in the hand and all that good stuff. But I'm not sure. We have to get it, you know, defined as either equipped or in a shortcut or something. I could add it to the shortcut menu, but then that would imply that it has to always be there. And I don't necessarily like that. Maybe if we set this thing to be not Highland related, we set this thing to be able to go on the shortcut. I don't want it to be on the shortcut, but because the problem with that is that at least the way things are currently coded, if I now choose that shortcut, it takes away the gun. So yeah, it's mad about the character visual. It's trying to spawn the weapon in the hand, doing it that way. So that's part of why I don't want to do it as a shortcut item, because then that actively conflicts with the flashlight, or with the weapon, pistol. So I mean, functionally, we can make it equipped by spawning it as, or telling it it's a weapon, and then it goes in that slot. I'm just curious why or where MP item equip slot Eno. I'm just curious where I have managed to get this all out of whack. And I assume, so MP item equip slot. And maybe it's, this is the inventory HUD component. Maybe it's in the inventory component. honest, I think the inventory component is literally just a C++ class, if I remember correctly. So I need to be looking for item equip slot enum. I could just do it like this. Equip slot enum. Item equip slot is actually what I should be searching. And it might be that I need to do it more like this. Let me try. Yes, searching for that, see where all it's used. Guess it's got to have something to do with in here we define menu for slot type, equipment, unequip. Okay. Find references. I mean, maybe. Somewhere I'm hard coding that, it seems like. I didn't plan this well enough ahead. Is it going to only show them in here? Yep. Which doesn't even really track. Read the value of event. If event equals use and show use equals true. And that's on button click. Wow, we've made a lot of not a lot of progress, rather. Because I seem to have hard-coded some value somewhere. So as long as it's defined as a tool, it doesn't get presented with the option to equip. But if I change it to a weapon, then it's going to get pulled in the wrong situations and conflict the pistol being equipped. So we don't want that. So this looks like I'm going to be digging through some code and trying to figure out where I hard set that. Doesn't appear to have been in Blueprint. Some combination of something that I did must have been the problem. Let's see. I'm that's about all the same here. Okay. Let's see. Why is this thing acting? Why am I highlighting things? Oh, there we go. Okay, I see what's happening. Because I have the level geometry selected. Alright. So why? Unless I'm doing it in here somewhere. Set up, pre-construct, show can destroy, show equipped. Stackable. Um, that's input switch. Set equipped. Rotate. This does not appear to be where the stuff gets set, though. Does that change any of the stuff I'd set on here? Okay. Set equipped. Yeah, I don't get slot index. It's kind of got me in a bit of a confusing spot here. I think what I'm going to do, though, I know we haven't really made a lot of progress, but I am exhausted, and it is already almost 9:30, so it's a little earlier than usual. But if I wait much longer, then we're going to hit an ad break, and I don't want to do that. So I'm going to find us a raid target, and I think I know someone. Let's see. Oh, well. Oh, there he is. And then, yes. Yeah, okay. We're gonna... You have a suggestion? Who is your suggestion? I don't need a suggestion necessarily, but I will listen to your suggestion. I'm not familiar. Give me a moment. Oh, I recognize the character now. Doing a charity stream. I see that. Yeah. Yeah, we can go see a charity stream. I don't know this person, so it may throw them off. Do you know them at all? You've talked a bit on Twitter? Okay. I sometimes feel a little iffy about rating people I've never rated before, but yeah, if you've talked to them on Twitter, then we can do that. All right, so let's wrap things up then. Yeah, we'll Although I've got the stream pulled up right now, and it sounds like maybe they're going through some craziness right now, unrelated to their charity. But yeah, yeah, they're discussing some kind of drama, so I don't really want to jump into the middle of that. I feel a little iffy jumping in the middle of that. Let's... it's unrelated to the stream. They're chatting with somebody, and I'm only hearing part of it, of course. I will take you to go watch someone play Resident Evil, Because then you can be all excited about Leon. They're on a Leon part. So we'll go see Krilly. Yep, Leon. I haven't raided Krilly before, but they at least know who I am, so that won't be as weird. But I will be back on Thursday and hopefully won't be as tired. So you get some rest as well. That goes for everybody. Good night.